Hi, welcome to KillieCast. I'm Ross Manson, I'm your host, and I'm joined this week by
Andy Kerr, same as usual, here to discuss all things great and good about Kilmarnock. So, kicking us off, for those of you who aren't aware of the format, first of all, we get torn into some things that have happened since our last podcast, the two of us speaking. So, Ross, if you want to go ahead.
Yeah, so first of all, I got an invitation down to the Samaritans' first birthday party. It was a year's anniversary of them being in their new offices down at the Foregate in the town centre. So it was fantastic. They had cakes and a raffle and they had a quiz. I love a quiz.
I do too,
Well,
and I like cakes.
I like cakes.
And I love a raffle. Like, see, genuinely, I'm a sucker for a raffle. Get me a raffle and I'll do anything. Doesn't matter what it's for. I mean, if it's for the most useless invention in the world, I still want to win it.
I prefer a quiz, right? And they had the quiz sheets out and I thought, beauty, it was £1 to enter. It's like, happy days, I've got this nailed.
Yeah.
But it was the first of everything, so it was like first Labour Prime Minister, first person in space, which was quite easy. But some of them were like first person to put a video on YouTube.
I have no idea. Was it Keyboard Cat?
I don't know. I don't know. I think it was famous. I remember hearing who it was, but I can't remember. Like, I can't now remember who it was. So I bought the quiz full of confidence, and it was very quickly eroded when I discovered that I knew one answer. That was because someone told me what the answer was. So, but it was excellent.
You can only try.
Yeah, absolutely. And the people that I met down there were absolutely great, and hopefully we're going to get them on the pod to do a wee featured interview and
that'd be absolutely
all the
brilliant.
rest of it. But really, really
And it is-
worthwhile work.
And given the kind of importance that's the importance of mental health and the kind of spotlight that these issues are being given, I think after a long time of being ignored by a lot of people, these guys do really, really good work, and they are available. We'll put the number and the details.
I'll keep retweeting it. And
Absolutely, yeah, because it's very, very important. And if you're, if one of your friends or family don't seem themselves, whatever, don't seem right, don't be afraid to reach out to them. Don't be afraid to ask them.
Aye, absolutely. So it was a great day and really nice people. And as I say, let's hope that we can get them on the pod as soon as possible.
We'd love to have you guys.
Yeah. So from there, I took a walk into the town. Now, this wasn't on my list, Andy, but oh man, that's my phone. But you know how people always say, "Oh, Kilmarnock's a pure ghost town," and you know. Not that Saturday. It was absolutely jumping. The sun was shining. There was loads of people out and about. People having fun. Kids with balloons and all the rest of it. And I thought, do you know, it's quite unfair when people say it's a ghost town because we've got a few shops that are missing, but do you know it's still really busy. So
absolutely. It
wasn't a ghost town, and I went into the Burns Mall and I went to the White Cube Gallery, which is set up by Centre Stage, and I think it was basically to get young people into art, but it's not necessarily painting or drawing. You know, there was a young boy, James, there who had written a book of short stories, and it was great guy, great fun to chat to and all the rest of it. And just in terms of meeting him, I know how he came up with all these short stories because he was telling all kinds of stories on how the art was created, and I'm going, oh right, that's really interesting. And the other boy's going, I don't think that's how that came up. So his imagination was unbounded, and it was really encouraging to.
I like that. So basically, an alternative history of art. Then.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm up for that.
Absolutely. So they were there for like 2 weeks, and they were selling some of the artwork as well. And then they're going away, and then they're coming back as well. So when they're coming back, we're hopefully going to try and get some of the guys from Centre Stage on to talk about what it is that they're going to do.
Smashing. So,
and then the last time we recorded, we sort of put a wee tiny bit in the end about the Teacher of the Year.
Chris Smith, yep. As I understand, he won.
Yes. Yeah, so he was voted Teacher of the Year for Scotland on the 6th of June. I'll get there eventually. And just wanted to give him a shout out and say congratulations because it's some achievement.
Kudos.
Yeah. And the next thing that I've got written down here is the espresso cart, which they've just sort of started up on their social media, which I thought was quite cool to have a look at, and maybe share and like and all the rest of it. And it looks like they're going to have a cart, obviously, selling coffees, going round the town, different places, doing events, you know, delivering to offices or workplaces or whatever.
Sounds ideal. So if your coffee machine or whatever isn't up to much at your workplace, I take it you can give them a shout and they'll come round and give you some coffee.
I think so. Like, as I say, they just basically started up their social media. You know, it was very, very early days, just a couple of posts. Their Instagram had the most sort of stuff on it and had some great photos, doing some tea testing as well, all the different types of tea. So that's definitely my mate's got a food truck and I help him out occasionally, and all the other, his as well, but all the other trucks are always good, different food, dead innovative and just dead tasty. So it's well worth giving them a follow, and hopefully they're up and running soon.
Yeah. I must admit, and this is going to sound weird, I don't particularly like tea or coffee. Yes, I'm weird, you're going to have to deal with it, but I'm into that. I like the sound of that, and if they do other stuff as well, then I'm more than happy to go along or have them come to me, actually, which is the beauty of it, and then see what happens. So absolutely. I'm up for it.
And I'm the same as you, but every so often I like a wee good strong coffee, you know, the so strong that you can stick your spoon up in. That's the kind of coffee I like, but just every so often. So talking of their social media, KFest has launched their social media on Facebook and Twitter, and hopefully on Instagram in the not too distant future. So well worth giving them a like and a follow and seeing what they're up to and announcing acts and all the rest of it.
Definitely, and there probably will be something for everyone. Don't just think, oh, it'll all be rock, it'll all be this, it'll all be that.
Aye.
If you think like that, you're never going to find anything new, particularly given the town over the past years has had quite a vibrant, albeit small scene. So by all means, pardon me, so by all means, give that a go.
Yeah, I mean, there's loads of stuff going on. I've noticed that they've put country. I think the Brass and Granite's having a country western night for now.
Yeah.
I'm not really a huge fan of country western, but my wife loves it. So I'm sure we'll end up down there for the Friday night, and I'll be, oh, come on. But,
I'm sure it'll be good.
Yeah,
I'm sure it will be good.
Do you know, she goes to enough stuff for me, so if I can find the stuff by following them on social media, then it's well worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. And the last thing that I've got here is a wee shout out to Peter Lee, who was on, I think it was Twitter that I saw him on, and they had a photo of him down at the Round the Town event.
Yeah.
Now Peter's 90, living with dementia, and he was still active enough to go up and inspire the younger generations by giving them a cheer on.
He puts me to shame. He absolutely puts me to shame. Some of you may know Peter as Mr. Spoons for his spoon playing exploits. He's a fantastic percussionist on the spoons, loves his skiffle, loves his running. Only up until recently he was running himself, so like I say, puts me to shame. Yeah,
it was a great photo of him, and fair play, 91 and still up and about and cheering on the younger generations. Well done.
Exactly.
And well done to everyone that took part in the Round the Town personal bests. I saw a good few set and all the rest of it, so fantastic. Well done to everyone that did that. So, section 2 is where we highlight what's coming up over the next couple of weeks and beyond in Kilmarnock. And to kick off section 2, I've got art with Jan Laird back at the train station. Now, we highlighted this in an earlier pod. It was a kind of one-off event that they did for kids and adults, learning how to draw and taking art classes by Jan. And it was so successful that they've done it again, which is great news.
Absolutely. These kind of repeat things, if people don't go to them and don't make a success of them, then they won't come back, and then these people will still complain, why is there nothing?
Yeah.
Jan's just proved it's good.
Yeah.
And I have seen her artwork, it is absolutely brilliant. So if you want to take some tips from a fantastic artist, or you just want to maybe try it for a shot, I have no problem admitting that I'm rubbish at art, but I'm always willing to try and see if I can get better. So
yeah, absolutely. And I think the idea is that she gives you some tips and tricks how to get better.
Yeah.
So the dates for that, sorry Andy, the dates for that is Saturday the 21st of July and the 18th of August. The kids classes are £15 per person and the adult classes are £20 per person.
That's a good price.
Yeah, and to get your tickets you just get in touch with the guys at the train station. Well worth a look.
Definitely.
So next up is an open day at the Kilmarnock police station. It's this Saturday. They're going to have visits to the cells. I think you can try and get them to keep the kids if the kids are misbehaving. I don't know how successful that'll be.
Always, it's if you ever wanted to know what exactly the police do behind the scenes, and also bring the kids along as well, because it does prove that the police aren't bad. You know, they're not scary. The police, the community police are friendly, and they are perfectly willing to help whenever there's a problem.
And funnily enough, my wife's in the police, and she was saying, you know, we were out the other day then, and someone says, "Oh, you better watch, or the police will get you." And she says, like, she tries to dissuade that, because if your kid gets lost around the town, then the people that they should be going up to is the police.
Yeah.
And if you've said, "Oh, the police will get you," then that paints them as a bad.
They're not going to go.
Exactly. So I think the whole point of this is to have fun. They've got police cars, they've got the CCTV van, but they've also got bouncy castles and face painting as well for the kids.
Will there be horses?
There could be. I don't know.
If you like horses, then the mounted division, I'm sure, will let you clap the horses.
I think they've got the dog. They might have the dogs there as well. I'm not too sure on the dogs and the horses, but they've definitely got all the good stuff in there. St John's ambulance are there, and I think the fire service may be there as well, but don't quote me on that one either. It looks good fun, and it's down at Kilmarnock Police Station this Saturday, so well worth popping down to that. And AC's Diner this Saturday has got the MCS showcase event, which is for motorbikes. They've got a ride-in show, they've got a barbecue, they've got stalls selling stuff for motorbikes, face painting again, and then live music in the evening with Gordon's Alive, which I think does sort of cover songs and that kind of stuff.
Sounds good.
It does look good as well. You know, they've got quite a big biker group going down there.
Yeah, and
Saturday.
I'm an absolute sucker for a barbecue.
Oh yeah.
So raffles and barbecues, if you have those things happening, then you've got me.
Yeah, me too. Raffles and barbecues, you can't beat them.
And maybe a quiz.
I throw in the quiz for Ross. No, it looks great. I helped out an event with bikers, and you know that way you've got that wee bit of anticipation. You know, building, and you think, get a bad press, but every single one of them was absolutely brand new and willing to talk about their bikes and show them off, and it's like the pride and joy. They take great pride in how the bikes look, so it's well worth going down to that. Even if you're not necessarily a biker, then go down, have a look at the bikes, get some photos, and get the kids face painted. Dynamite. So just a quick shout out, I know we've mentioned it before, but the tickets for K-Fest are now on sale. You can get them. This is a bit of a long list, and the places are on the poster, so I'll say them quickly, but you'll be able to see on the poster. It's Witherspoons, Brass and Granite, Max Bar, The Crown, in the first edition, O'Shannon's, WG13, and Fanny by Gaslight, and Aces. £10 for the ticket for the main stage. A lot of free stuff going on round about, but for a tenner, quite a few bands playing on the main stage. So
sounds good to me, yeah. Besides, the more bands you see, the more value for money that tenner becomes.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think all the bands are the same, so you know, you go and see one and then you maybe stay for the half of the next one if it's not necessarily your type of music, but you might change and might enjoy it. The Global Market is down in Kilmarnock Town Centre. That's from tomorrow, the 21st to the 24th. Mentioned this again in the last pod, but it's the only visit. So
it is the only visit this year. Unlike previous years where they've come 2 or 3 times, this is the only time you'll see them this year. So if you want your ostrich burger or your re-sculpture or your garden stuff or whatever they have, this is your chance. Go and see them.
Yeah. So Andy, you were wanting to tell us about?
There's a Friends and Beginners evening on Friday the 22nd of June, so that's tomorrow if you're listening to the podcast on Thursday. Today, if you're listening to it on the Friday. Yesterday, if it's a Saturday, you've missed it. No, you haven't really. Anyway, that's on 6:30 for 7:30 at Portland Bowling Club on South Hamilton Street at Kilmarnock. Often Portland Bowling Club gets mixed up with Spring Hill, it's a confusing issue. Anyway, doesn't matter. The idea is that members at the club are being asked to bring friends, neighbours along, but anyone's welcome to come along. Just let them have a look at the bowling club, what it's like inside, what it's like on the green. If you're curious about bowls and you haven't had the kind of excuse to try it out, this is your very chance, and if you like it so much, you can come in for a cuppa, and you can maybe even talk about becoming a member. The only thing that we ask is that you bring flat shoes along. We will have some at the bowling club, but if you bring flat shoes, so no stilettos, no Billy Connolly banana boots, unfortunately they're
So
not.
it's just like trainers?
Yeah, flat trainers, so for example, Converse or Vans, that kind of thing.
Right.
Other shoes are available, please buy responsibly.
What dates and times did you say that was?
So that's Friday the 22nd of June, 6:30 for 7 o'clock, and it, hopefully, weather permitting, it's sure to be a great night. But the good news is, if it is a bit of a washout, or maybe you don't take to it too much, we do have a fully stocked bar.
Oh, happy days. Happy days. Excellent. And the other one I saw was the Tiger MCC ride-in show at Rugby Park. All about the bikes this week.
Absolutely. Again, if you liked the idea of the MCS showcase, you are going to love the Tiger MCC ride. It's at Rugby Park. What's the date for that, Ross?
It's the 7th and 8th of July.
Lovely. And they've got an all-day barbecue. They've got archery. I mean, who doesn't like archery? And they also have the Bird of Prey display as well, and I like Birds of Prey.
And they've got... Sorry, when you go?
I was just going to please don't combine the archery and the Birds of Prey.
Disaster strikes. They've got an all-day bar as well, so don't combine the three of them.
No, please.
Well, maybe you should, because then maybe you would miss the birds.
Maybe. Please drink responsibly. Please shoot arrows responsibly. Please handle Birds of Prey responsibly.
Just be responsible.
Absolutely.
So we've also got Ayrshire's Farmers Market, which is on the third Saturday of every month. So we've just missed that one there, but it'll be back next month on the third Saturday. And it looked cracking. I saw the photos online and just looked really, really great.
Farmers markets are always quite good for all sorts, kind of what you'd expect, but also some weird and wonderful things as well. So by all means, go along. Like Ross said, unfortunately, it's just been for this month, with it being on the third Saturday of each month. However, next month it will be on, and it's sure to be a belter.
And I saw that they had asparagus, like fresh asparagus. Now, by all accounts, the reason I bring this up is asparagus is meant to decrease in flavour from the second that you pick it. So literally, if you get it an hour, it's not, well, if you get it 2 hours, it's not as good as if you'd had it after an hour. So if you can get it from a farmer's market and it's picked pretty much straight away and sold to you straight away, then it's bound to be better than the stuff that you get in the supermarket. I've always been keen to try like really fresh asparagus.
In that case, we are going and we are getting asparagus.
And we'll poached eggs, bacon and asparagus and toast.
I can very much live with that.
Yeah.
Very much.
Deal, right. We'll do that the third Saturday next month. And the last thing that I've got, we mentioned it before, but I quite like him, so I'm going to mention it again. Fred Macaulay, Park Hotel, this Saturday coming, last few tickets remaining, 30 years of making people laugh tour. Looks to be good. Why not check it out?
Absolutely. And Fred's been going for quite a while, so definitely one to go along and see. Besides, it's probably going to be quite intimate compared to some of the places that Fred's been before.
Yeah.
And that can't be a bad thing by any means, can it?
No, absolutely not.
The only thing is, you might want to watch you're not in the front row with these things.
No, always worry about that as well.
One more thing in terms of entertainment, we have more music. The Tartan Suite recently, the Old Bakers, which is next to the Tartan Sheep on John Finney Street, has been putting on quite a few gigs. We've got another one this Saturday, which is Kilmarnock's own Losing Ground, with support coming from Broadsea and the Belafonte. Tickets are available from Tickets Scotland or losingground.bigcartel.com. I'm going to find out how much they cost.
The finger was up in the air there. I'm going to try and fill this space while Andy checks. I'm not. I usually pause it and let Andy have the time, but I'm going to put him under pressure here.
They cost £6, 6 actual British money.
It's not too bad, is it?
There we are. That's absolutely fine. 3 bands for that, £2 a band. Doors at 7:30, and yeah.
What date was that, Andy?
That's Saturday the 23rd.
Perfect. Cool. Excellent. So that takes us to our third section, which, as you all now hopefully know, or don't if this is your first time listening, is our featured group or person. And this week we went along and we had a chat with Patchwork, who do kind of recovery services for addiction. It's well worth a listen. It's really quite interesting to see how it's done. Patchwork do it slightly differently to try and not help people get back into the community. Probably once they've beaten their addiction or got through their addiction, then they take them from that step between, right, that's you off your addiction, to back into the community. So really, really worth a listen. About 15 minutes this week, and then the full interview will go up next week, and I would really encourage you to listen to the full interview next week, because I had a great laugh speaking to them, and it's really, really interesting work that they're doing.
And I'm going to listen to it next week, so come on.
Excellent. So, without much further ado, here's the guys from Patchwork.
My name's Annie Brown. I work for the Volunteer Centre, but I'm also involved with the recovery community Patchwork.
I'm Derek Burns, and I've been involved with Patchwork from the outset, more or less.
Excellent. So, how did you get involved with Patchwork, guys?
Patchwork, I kind of seen a need for people who are in the kind of next steps recovery to have something to do, somewhere to go, somewhere where they can socialise. There was various kind of training opportunities and stuff in the town for people if they had recovered from alcohol or drugs, but sometimes people need a lot of help just to get to that stage where they can join a training programme. And I had heard from different people that, you know, sometimes that just socialising with people of, as they would say, a normal background and not an addiction background is very, very difficult.
Right.
So Patchwork was kind of set up to give people the opportunity to come together, socialise, basically have a night out.
Right,
without
okay.
a drink or drugs or anything. And that's what we did.
Excellent. And Derek?
Well, I was involved with a group, and that wasn't really going anywhere.
Right, okay.
So I got involved. Well, when I first met with Patchwork, I had a few disagreements, and I did go missing for 2 or 3 weeks, and then I came back to Patchwork, and I've been there ever since.
Alright, okay. So how did you get in contact with Annie?
It was through Ad Action. The first meeting was at Ad Action
Right,
that
okay.
I knew about, and I went to it. That's how I get involved.
Right, and when was this? A couple of years ago, or?
April 2016.
And from there it just took off? You
took
came
off.
You came more often? And
I'm there every week,
right, okay.
more or less every weekend. Missed a few weeks, but that wasn't
Aye.
through choice. I've missed it.
Right, okay. So what actually happens? You said that there was like nights out and all that kind of stuff without drinks and alcohol. So what is it you guys do when you come along?
We first kind of started, we sat down, everybody sat down together, and as I say, we had a few kind of initial meetings with people who are maybe involved in other groups. The groups weren't really going anywhere and they weren't getting anything from it. So we sat down and we said, what would you like to see? And we were getting responses back like, oh, we would like kind of training, we would like BBV, we would like naloxone training, all relating to drugs or that kind of life and that, all this. And I thought, no, that's not what this group is about. This group is about you getting back to normal.
Right.
You getting back to being a human being again, enjoying your life. So it took a wee while to get people to even think of themselves in a different light.
Yeah.
So once we did that, then we started thinking about, oh, we could do this and we could do this. So we have did competitions with yo-yos, we have did competitions with balloons.
Right.
We did crafts. Derek's very good at.
It was a fun night, Friday night,
Right, okay.
without alcohol or drugs.
Right, okay.
And without even the mention it really. I mean, if somebody wants to talk about their experiences, they can, but it's not a kind of get together where we all sit round the table and say, hi, my name's such and such and I've did this.
Aye.
And I'm now at this place. This is about come in, there's people that come that don't have an addiction background,
Right, okay.
and they really like it. We get kids along. Sometimes we like to encourage that. We get kids along. We get ex-wives along, and we get sometimes we get services along. But again, if the services come, they come as participants.
Right.
So the Bentic Centre has came along. Our alcohol and drug partnership, they've came along and spent the evening with us.
Right. So excuse my ignorance. From what I'm taking here, and I could be wrong, what seems to be happening is that people go on the sort of drug and alcohol addiction courses where, like you say, they stand up and say, I'm so and so and I've done whatever, and then once they sort of get to the end of that, or their end of that, there wasn't really anything that took them from there to back to normality, right? And that's where Patchwork fits in, basically, to say, listen, no, you've maybe had a bit of trouble in the background, but we want to offer you something where you can just come along and interact with people, and there's no stigmas involved or anything like that. It's just about what you guys want to do, have a bit of fun, start chatting to people as well.
Gain self-confidence.
Right.
We do have training. We have a training calendar, don't we? Now again, Patchwork isn't funded just yet, and that's not strictly true. We have funding. We do have our own premises that we're about to move into. We'll talk about that later probably. But for the 2 years prior to today, we've not had any funding, so we have to think of ideas that are free.
Right, okay.
So that was good though, because that meant we had to use the skills in the room.
Yeah.
And we had to use our resources. So that was a really good exercise, not to have funding.
Aye.
It's not a replacement for your treatment services, your GP. It's not a replacement for anything. It's to complement what's already there.
Right, okay.
And it's, again, in East Ayrshire there's nothing for recovery, and it's all about the training and the stuff. As I say, we do have the training, but that's something you can move on to if you like. If you don't.
Yeah.
There's also some people who don't like the traditional kind of fellowship, kind of AACANA.
Right.
They don't get it. They don't want to go. So they can maybe come kind of straight to us. Problem being that we only meet once a week now, and it's not enough.
Right. Okay. Was it more? Were you meeting more often than that?
No. We started once.
It's always
It's always been
Right,
once
okay.
a week. However, we did get some participatory budgeting funding
Right. Okay.
to open another day, and we did, and we opened on a Saturday for 3 months.
Right. Okay.
So if we can, get the resources to open up more, it's difficult because we're all volunteers.
Right.
Some of us work, Derek volunteers somewhere else.
So talk me through a typical Friday night with Patchwork.
Typical Friday night would be Derek's, but you've been opening up for some time now, haven't you? Derek's a key holder.
I've had the keys to the YM, basically, if we moved in. If we got a set of keys for the YM.
And that's where you meet every Friday at the YMCA. Right.
Basically, I'm doing about 5:45.
Okay.
Open up, but the kettle and that one.
Oh, important stuff first.
Depending on what we're doing that night, we'll play days so much, then we'll stop halfway through and have a bite pie or
Some tea.
some tea,
Right.
and then just carry on for a couple of hours.
Excellent. And how long what time do you usually finish up at?
We say 6 to 8, but when did we get out there on Friday?
10 to 9. Couldn't have said that. You'll be one.
I know they were wanting extra rent. We'll bleep that out.
So sometimes, as I say, it's not about coming and telling your story to everybody. Nobody asks where you're from, what you've done, but it is about, there is people there, and Derek's like that. Derek's one of them as well, who, if you've got somebody you want to talk to,
Aye.
then there's people there you can talk to as well. And we do see, the kind of peer mentoring thing naturally helps.
Yeah, of course.
But that's something we would like to really grow
Right.
and formalise and have a robust peer mentoring system.
Right.
So that we can go outreach.
Right.
And go to kind of different places. But again, that's for the future as well.
So it sounds like it's all quite laid back. There's no, obviously you've got a set time and a start time and a finish time, but there's no huge amount of structure. If you're doing something and it it takes a wee bit longer, then it takes a wee bit longer, and you don't sit there and take registers and say, well, he's not been here. And
We have a signing in register, but only for, I'm thinking in terms of funders.
yeah,
And even we've been quite slack with that. But we do have, we've tried different things. We would sit one week and then say, okay, what are we doing next week? Okay, we'll do this, right, who's cooking next week, who's doing this? And that worked well enough. But then we worked with a big rota, and we did it weeks in advance.
right, okay,
That worked really quite well.
right.
So
everyone has to take a turn in cooking a meal or providing the food and drink or whatever for
Some
the
people-
night.
It's not cooking a meal, it's just a snack.
Right, okay.
You're no,
it can be a snack, it can be a sandwich, it can be a roll.
Aye. But someone has to take responsibility to do
or
that.
2 people.
2 people, right, okay.
Or even someone takes the responsibility and get somebody to help them do it. You
Right.
know, just because it's, and I mean down to things like bringing the milk.
Of course.
No,
See, it's these things I never think of, and then I
See,
have a meeting and no milk.
See, but that's all. It's all really important stuff, and that's the kind of thing that, again, because we're not a service or not a, we are a group,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not one person leading. If it was a service, then a service where somebody would maybe say, oh, I'm fed up. You go there every week and there's no milk, start bringing it along. But what we do, there's no milk when
you go to
Aye, someone
farm
has to
foods.
go.
so we go to Van
Aye.
Foods and get it.
Aye, absolutely.
And I mean, it's no. I mean, I could write my diary every Friday. You need to take milk, take milk,
Aye.
take milk, take milk. Wouldn't do anybody any good.
No. And it's about, like you said earlier, being normal, isn't it? So, normal life, someone has to go and get the milk, and it's fair enough to everyone takes turns to do it.
I think I need to steer. So what I noticed, Derek, over 2 years ago was, I don't have any background in working with people with addictions.
Right.
And what I noticed when I was getting to know folk was everything was held to people.
Right.
It was held to them, given to them, and that I didn't see the benefit in that.
Right.
Maybe to a degree at the start, but then you've got to, and empower is a word that's used too often, but it is true. You do have to try and empower people.
Aye.
Or there's no point. You'll still be handing them, the same stuff 10 years later.
Aye.
And that's something that me kind of, and as I say, the volunteers that came with us are great, are absolutely brilliant, and they have came on. There is a big difference, and
The difference in me is
a huge difference in you, Derek. I didn't like to say that, but no, it's not for me to say. But well, there absolutely is.
Right, so finally, we do the quick fire questions. Well, this is my favourite part, and Derek, you're answering every one of these questions. Right, so, Derek, favourite park in Kilmarnock?
Dean Park.
Dean Park gets a lot of love. Favourite thing about Kilmarnock, apart from myself and Annie?
The Wains.
The Wains, aye. My granny Wains.
Perfect. Have you got a favourite place to eat in Kilmarnock?
No, I don't really eat out. I'd rather have fish supper, to be quite honest with you.
Where'd you get your fish supper from?
Only fish shop, usually ferries. Usually
Ferries.
ferries.
Ferries, right, okay.
Because they deliver.
Have you lived in Kilmarnock all your life?
No,
No.
I'm only 27 years I'm in Kilmarnock.
I thought you were going to say you were only 27.
I have a half past a while ago.
27 years in Kilmarnock is still a long time though, isn't it?
Aye. Well, I was used with Village Life. I came for Christmas.
Ah, right, okay. Where are we? What's the most exciting thing coming up in Kilmarnock? Oh, come on, you've been talking about it just 2 minutes ago.
Patchwork.
Where are you moving?
Where
Well,
am I moving?
Your Patchwork moving's got to be your most
Aye.
exciting, surely.
Aye, it is actually Patchwork moving to new premises, to bigger and better things.
Excellent. And favourite famous person from Kilmarnock? Can't say me, I'm no famous yet.
I shouldn't really say this, but Johnny Walker.
Johnny Walker. There you go. Well, he was a businessman, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Right, so Annie, same questions to you. Favourite
Right.
park in Kilmarnock?
The Dean Park as well.
Dean Park. Favourite thing about Kilmarnock?
That's a hard one.
Me.
No, you don't. Favourite thing about where I stay?
Fair enough. Have you got a favourite place to eat in Kilmarnock?
No, I don't have a favourite place, but I was in, can I say the name of the place?
Yeah, of course.
Maggie's last week,
Right.
and it was brilliant.
Good.
It was great. So that might be my new favourite place. Mm-hmm.
Have you lived in Kilmarnock all your life?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have. Most exciting thing coming up?
Most exciting thing for us is we'll move. We're Kilmarnock for the town. I think there's a few things coming up, but I just kind of here in the periphery. So, yep, moving.
Excellent. And favourite famous person from Kilmarnock?
I don't know any.
We looked up someone else. Was, I don't really know anyone. When we looked him up, and I was going through the Wikipedia list. But what about? I don't know him. What about? Nah, I don't know him. It's no very great famous people. She eventually, I shouldn't say because it'll tell you who it was, but she said Squirrely, the mascot from the football. I was like, that's a belter. I like that answer. Well, thanks very much for taking the time to speak to me, and
Thanks
very
coming.
much. Brilliant. Cheers, guys. So, thanks very much to the guys at Patchwork for meeting up with me and having a chat. As I'm sure you'll agree, it was dead interesting to hear what they had to say and how they're moving forward. And as I say, listen to that full interview next Thursday, because some of the stuff that they say is thought-provoking and maybe change how you see the stigma of addiction. Really, really interesting stuff, and well worth a listen to the full interview.
Definitely.
So that just leaves us to say a couple of more things before we shoot off into the distance.
Absolutely. Well, 2 weeks' time at least.
Yeah, so number one, if you like us, then subscribe and leave us a review.
The more reviews we get, the more people we can reach.
Yep. And Andy, we had a review this week, a 5-star review on iTunes.
Very, very nice. Who's this from?
This is from Sean Paul Turnbull. It says, great variety with these guys sharing all the good things in the community, getting the inside knowledge. So thanks very much for
Thank you very much. Yeah.
leaving that review. That's really appreciated. And Andy, if people want to get in touch with you, how do they do it? What's the best way to go about it?
Probably Twitter. My Twitter is @ShandyK_. Alternatively, we are KillieCast, and I will respond to any requests you have for me or even for us on KillieCast. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and various podcast outlets such as iTunes as well. Ross, you've got the full list.
Yeah, I need to start getting my finger out with the Instagram because it's not very good. But I'm working on it and I'm trying to get better at it. So
We're not perfect, but we do try.
no, and it's podcasts more audible than visual, isn't it? So it's quite
Yeah.
hard to put.
I don't know.
Pictures
I don't know. There's that many people want to look at me really.
And
So
no one wants to look at me, mate. So maybe we should ditch Instagram. Who knows? Anyway, you can get us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We've got a website which is KillieCast.co.uk as well, and you can get in touch with us by email at ross@KillieCast.co.uk. So that's pretty much it. Thanks very much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
bye.